Hello, all of you Vainglorious, you wonderful people, and welcome back to City Skylines. If it looks like things are going really, really fast, that's because they are. This is sped up about 600%. What you're watching is footage from a live stream that just happened last week. You'll be able to review that live stream as a Twitch archive right here on YouTube on the 17th of January. But I thought, since it's a new year, it might be kind of a nice idea to start a brand new map in City Skylines. And one of the things I've been wanting to do is to link together my live streams and my recorded videos for City Skylines. Not 100% certain how I'm going to make it all work together just yet. Simply because, if I live stream something, I record like about a month's worth of videos at a time in City Skylines that are going to go up on YouTube. So things could get out of order, but of course, that just encourages you to watch both the live streams and, the YouTube videos so that you can keep up with what's going on. Of course, if you are a Twitch subscriber, you can watch the archive videos anytime. You don't have to wait the 2 weeks that I have them on delay for YouTube. You can watch them at any time. I've got all my past videos on Twitch set to subscriber only, and if you have Twitch Prime, of course, you can get that sub for free. But anyway, so we're here on what is an absolutely beautiful map. I will try to remember to leave a link in the description down below with the creator's name as well. I can't remember it off the top of my head at the moment. But it's a stunning map. And I wanted to see what we could do with it, what we could, get out of it. Because it's also a challenging map because it has a lot of 2-lane highways. And I mean 2-lane, 1 lane in each direction. Very few, if any, 3-lane highways anywhere. But what I really like is, as you can see here, the starting section is just this one little area. We quickly expand out across that small little river there to the left, but we are in just that tiny little starting area. By the way, if you're wanting to skip this quote-unquote time-lapse section, you can go to about the 20-minute mark in the video, and that is where we will have some actual live gameplay, well, pre-recorded gameplay. Apparently, I just didn't do anything for quite a while there, because even at 600%, I was just sitting there. There's no telling what I do in my live streams. Oh, I think I was waiting for the city to grow. Yeah, I was waiting to see if the city would grow up and see what that did for my budget and what new stuff that gave me. So what we were doing in the live stream is we spent about 2.5 hours. I edited out probably a good 45 minutes of the stream because I also spent some time tweaking some things on the map that there were just a few things that needed a couple fine-tuning adjustments, and we're not quite done with all that, and we'll probably look at that some in the YouTube series as well. But there are going to be places where it seems like it just suddenly jumps from one place to another, and that's why. Anytime I was out exploring the map and looking at different things, I would just cut that out because it didn't make a lot of sense in the video. I had it originally in there, but then when it was all sped up, some of it happened so quick, by the time I would get done explaining why I was doing something, it would go. So I did start off with a basic grid, but I don't want this city to be super gridded. Maybe once we get over to the part where there's going to be like actual big skyscrapers and things like that, which is out across the bigger river, which we haven't even seen yet. Maybe then we'll do some more grid, but I kind of want to follow the terrain as much as I can and the tree line that's on this map as much as I can. So there may be little sections in the middle that have a grid, but then they'll quickly, as you can see off to the side, have some kind of just irregular roads that follow it. So we're already up to 2,600 people. This is probably about an hour into the stream. The cities grow fast and you can unlock things. Of course, I did unlock all 81 tiles already. And by the way, if you're wondering why this video is in 1080p, even though I've been lately uploading that we had a natural disaster of a storm, it caused me to move my park that I was about to draw in all the way across the map. Look at that lightning. It's kind of crazy. But anyways, if you're wondering why this is in 1080p and not 1440 like I've been doing, that's because I live stream at 1080, and so it saves my local copy at 1080 as well. So that's the only reason why. City Skylines will continue at 1440 on YouTube. It's just this particular one had to be 1080p and 30 frames per second. The horror. The horror of it all. So I wanted to get a park in early. For one, they can bring in a little extra money. But two, if you get everything in, like get it fully upgraded to a 5-star park, they do give a pretty good boost to land value around them. And they also raise your attractiveness for tourism, so you can get on the tourism game, even though in a small amount, but you can get on it really early. So that is why I went ahead and did a city park so early in the development of this city. God, we're back down to 2000. I'm not sure what happened there. But it's kind of growing. No, it's going down. But we do have a big demand for residential right now, so it'll be okay. So the park kind of goes back and forth between making us money and losing money, but it will eventually make money for us, especially once I expand out across the river, because I also carry the park out across the river as well, and it works out quite nicely. I think overall I'm really pleased with the start and how things go with the actual start of everything. So really it was just a matter of trying to get it to grow, to get to these, through the initial milestones that you have set up. Basically, I always like to get to the milestones that allow me to maximize, like doubles commercial sales, double production in industrial, and then significantly boosts land values around residential. But I don't think those come until 7,000. And if I remember right, we only get up to about 4,000. And I doubt that by the end of this video, because I'm probably going to get about 10 minutes of actual in-game footage here at the end of this video, just so I can keep it. I like to keep them around 30 minutes, which is really hard to do with City Skylines, especially early in the game, because there's not a lot to do early in the game other than wait for people to move in. You build, you wait. You build, you wait. I'm just going to upgrade there to the park, or first upgrade to the park, and we have piers. And since we've got this river right here, I'm just going to make a nice river walk for the park and get those all connected up as well. One of the other nice things about the parks is, since that is spread out the way it is, once I get some housing along the backside of that curvy road, which is now apparently, people will actually pay to walk through the park instead of taking the longer route of walking down the sidewalk on the street. So, it kind of gives us a little extra income. Just wanted to get all the sidewalks straightened out, so those weird gaps, I guess you'd call them, between the different sections would go away. Those kind of bother me a bit. But we've already got quite a few people actually visiting the park, both tourists as well as residents. So it's kind of cool how quickly that park starts going. We're coming up to our next milestone, about 2,000 people away from that. And of course, you can keep an eye on that down there. We're at 2740 something right now. And as I said, it moved into the 50s and the 40s. It's just all over the place. So yeah, I wanted to get the park connected up to this side street here, so that maybe they'll even use the bridge to go across. And this is where we start planning out where we're going to get everything connected. This is important too, because right now the way these highway connections are, and if I remember, I'll show you once we get into some live gameplay. This roundabout does not connect to the highway, not directly anyway, and not close to the highway that comes into the other end of this town that we're currently building. You have to go a really long way. So I thought it would be important to get us access off of both of those highways directly into town as soon as possible. And that's why I wanted to have a bridge across that. I eventually put in a second bridge as well, even though that won't carry a lot of through traffic off the highway. But it will give citizens as well as bus lines that we'll be putting in shortly. Yes, a bus line for a town of 4,000 people, I know. But it will give us a way for those to have a second route across, so that not all the traffic gets funneled down just what is right now just a 2-lane road. I do eventually upgrade it to 4-lane road. Though honestly, with as few people as live over in this area, I doubt we'll need anything bigger than a 4-lane. I can't ever really see traffic becoming an issue. Here we go. We're building that second bridge, just trying to find the angle that I want. Decided I wanted to first just figure out how I wanted it to go over the river, and then I'd worry about connecting it up to the other roads. So we got that connected, had a little bit of a power need to get some electricity in, because that happens early on in the game, especially when you're doing like I'm doing right now and running just off of wind power. Yeah, you run out of power a lot. I may have to switch over to some polluting power. My goal on this is to see if I can't use. There's a lot of rivers in this map, and again, you haven't even really seen them. I think the last 10 minutes of the live footage will probably just explore the map and just show you how beautiful this map really is. Park got another upgrade, so we can get some gazebos in there, and the gazebos must do wonderful things for entertainment and land value, because we just had a massive surge in residential upgrades, so that's a cool thing. But anyways, yeah, we'll probably do like a fly through, or not a fly through, but just a quick look around in the whole map, just to give you an idea of what it is we're working with. This map's really cool because it's really diverse. So that's a funky looking bridge. I'm going to work on both those bridges, don't you worry. It's just got some really diverse areas. There's some nice areas up in the hills that are nice and flat. And then it'll drop down. Even the roadways are like just visually interesting. Which is one of the reasons I chose this, because it just has a lot more, even though this is a quote unquote vanilla map in that it doesn't require any Steam Workshop assets to make it work. It works with just the base game and a couple of DLCs. It's still quite detailed and quite nice. In fact, a lot of really thoughtful touches went into this, and I'm sure it probably took the creator that made this map a very, very long time to make it. I'm not a map maker. My hat's off to people who know how to do that and can make them turn out really well. I've tried it several times, and my maps are just kind of blah. Mainly because I don't have the patience. So I'm planning in a commercial area here. So I put in services as well as our first post office for the town, and then got education started, because we were already getting pretty close to capacity on elementary. So we were going to need some capacity for that on the other side of town pretty soon once I start expanding over there. Do believe we wind up adding in the high school as well, just so that we can get the high school students taken care of, because the one high school that we built was not quite enough. So we've got at the entrance to the original part that we were building, we have our industrial, then we have a commercial strip, and then we have residential, and then it kind of reverses that with residential, commercial, and I don't think I actually put any industrial in, because I get a bus route in and I'm able to get people bused over to the commercial or the industrial jobs fairly simply. I'm gonna go ahead and start getting set up for disasters here. One of these to be placed, kind of logically, like, this is next to a police station. At first I was gonna put it right against the road, but then I decided, no, these don't have to be against the road, so why not have them just in a nice little spot where it looks like it's an extension of the police station. And then we're just throwing in some emergency shelters. Since we have a population of 3,000, I think I put 3 in, and then we'll worry about a 4th later once we see where our big population center, well, not big population center, but where the majority of the people wind up taking up residence. Because again, we're probably close to 2 hours into the stream now, and I'm just looking around at the next place we can expand. But yeah, we're probably about 2 hours into the stream at this point, and you got to start thinking about future growth, especially because we are getting really close to that next milestone. Decided to go ahead and try to encourage people to pay us to walk across this bridge as well, because people are using that park bridge instead of the street bridge. And so I figured since they were using it anyway, I may as well add a couple connections to make it even more convenient for them, so that we can get that, what is it, like $40 or whatever we charge every time they walk through. And you can see there's a ton of people using that bridge. It does slow down. I thought there was a mod you could do to ban pedestrians on certain roads, but apparently not. If there is, I couldn't find it. I was really kind of hoping, though, that there was, because I liked the idea of forcing them to use the park to pay us. I mean, I could put like small sections of highway in that don't have sidewalks. Like we had to replace the bridges with just a 2-lane highway. I could do that, but I don't know, not necessarily. Or not necessary. But for power on this map, I primarily want to go with solar and hydroelectricity. Simply because there's a lot of places where there's lakes and streams that are at higher elevations and they come down. And they look like they've got some pretty good areas to already have, flood control to deal with the water that backs up behind the dam. So I'm going to experiment with that some. Probably not anytime soon, though, because I think it's at 16,000. So I ran out of places where my original wind farm was. So I had to build one kind of far away, which means now we're paying upkeep on all of our power lines. But again, that's something that as I fill out the map, those power lines can go away because there'll be buildings and things that'll be able to carry it instead of having to rely on it. Though, honestly, power lines kind of fit this map in certain places, just especially out here where it looks like a very rural area. It just kind of works. So putting in some bus lines now, getting so that we can keep traffic to a minimum by having a mass transit system, even though it's only 4,600 people. I mean, seriously, what small town in the world has bus lines for 4,600 people? But we're getting quite a bit of usage out of it really early on. In fact, I remember I went in at one point and saw that one of the bus lines actually needed more buses because they were having like a queue of 200 people. So since we unlocked the streets with the trees on them, I figured I'd go ahead and get those put in because they do slightly raise residential value by lowering the amount of noise, and it just generally makes your residences or your residents and your commercial properties just a little happier. So now I'm going in and putting in 4-lane as basically our major through road here, all the way to both entrances, so that we've got 4 lanes in both directions. And then I will eventually set up proper yield and give way and all that on that main road so that they get priority traveling through the town. But it's not anything I need to worry about immediately because traffic stays. Well, you can see it. It's not. There is no traffic to speak of. There are cars driving around, but there's nowhere that there's a bottleneck yet. Mainly because they've got 2 ways to go across from both sides. And then once they're in each side, they've got multiple streets they can go up and down to get where they need to be. So, it kind of works out really well like that. Here, I was just hoping that some of these newer homes would start upgrading quicker since they have parks and things. I don't really know why, but they just weren't wanting to upgrade for me in the way that I really wanted. Here, I was trying to figure out how to ban pedestrians. I really thought that the traffic manager mod would let me do it, but no such luck. What are you going to do, huh? But I think I even come back to that later, like, no, there has to be. I got to be overlooking it. But you can see that the older section of town, everybody's upgraded as high as they can, giving current land values. But down here on this other side, it's really going slow, despite the fact they have more parks and everything down here. So I'm not sure quite what's causing that, other than maybe there's just not enough density of homes for them to raise each other's land value. Of course, this park upgrade to a 5-star helps on both ends quite a bit, and it makes residential people a lot happier. And if there's any commercial nearby, it'll even make them happier because it does draw in some tourists because of the policies that we have in effect. So we've got about a minute more remaining here on the time lapse, and really at this point, I was just waiting for growth, looking to see what things are costing, make sure that, again, we had a bus line that needed a little bit of a bump, and just making sure that everything was running smoothly. Because you got to keep your eye on a lot of stuff in City Skylines, or else it gets away from you very, very quick. And there we go. We've got some upgrades going. Looking at where we're going to expand next. We'll probably get that into the next video that we work on. But you know what? I think that's... Well, let's see. What are we doing here? I'm about to say it's a good place to jump into the live gameplay. We've only got a few seconds left in the time lapse. There we go. I knew there was something else I did before I finished. I gave some more people some roads with trees. So let's go ahead then and cut on over into live gameplay. And here we are in the game, and you can see we get up to just under 4,500 people right now. A few places wanting more workers. We'll just take a quick look through the town here. That's going a lot faster than I wanted, so we'll use the mouse to do it. This is the original area that we built in. You may recognize some of it from the time lapse. But this is all the original area with our wind farm, original wind farm over there, and the newer wind farm, which makes more sense, up on the hill. I may move it all up there, honestly. And then here is our park that has the small river running right between it. Again, just an absolutely gorgeous, beautiful map. And then this is the newest edition, which still has room for a few people to come in. But the only reason I haven't zoned it yet is because, as you can see, a lot of these homes still not upgraded. And I don't really want to start zoning. I mean, they've got good land value. I really don't want to zone in a bunch of houses that are going to then immediately upgrade because I don't have an immediate place to jump to for them to have a place to work. I mean, I guess I could, you know, come down here maybe with a road that kind of comes down the hill or something. I don't know. And then maybe bridges across. There's not a whole lot of buildable space down here. But let's zoom way out at the whole map here. I should have looked up what the name of it was in between. So there is where we started, right there in that square, and then we expanded out. But I do have all 81 tiles unlocked. And you can see this map is just, even from this distance, it's beautiful. It is absolutely gorgeous. And we'll zoom back in, and we'll kind of follow the river down to where it starts. Though I think this is the side that splits off. But you can see there's plenty of places where there's waterfalls. Though I would hate to interrupt that waterfall with a dam, because that's beautiful. That's a nice big waterfall. But there's other places where there's some wider channels that the water comes down from a much higher area. And, you know, look at this. With these high banks, this could easily accommodate a hydroelectric dam, and I could probably even build it right under this highway and then use the Anarchy mod to build the highway on to where it follows the dam, so it'll just curve like out and around. So it'll come out of the roundabout and then curve around and then reconnect to the highway there. Probably won't be much of an issue at all, since that's just a... Why is that going one way? That shouldn't be one way. Yeah, I do believe the map creator clicked the wrong highway on that. Let's fix that real fast, shall we? National Road is what that should have been. There we go. Now they can actually use that. Before they were only able to use it to go that way. Now they can use it to go both ways, and immediately somebody's choosing to. So cool. And we should also see some traffic coming up this way now that they actually have somewhere to go. Anyways, yeah, I think I could get a pretty productive hydroelectric dam. If not right here, then for sure down here, and we could just do it underneath these guys somehow. I'm not quite sure how we do that. But I love these little things that are attention to detail where the road kind of curves under the bridge. We'll look at a few more things like that. Especially if I can find our town, like where the initial road comes in is really cool. Like it splits off from a 2-lane highway down to, or a 4-lane highway down to just a 2-lane, and then it kind of comes up here in this really tight little valley up underneath everything and up into our town, and then bypasses it for some farming and oil and ore and all that. So anyways, moving back across this direction, the river is flooding in some places, and that's my fault, not the map creator's fault. I raised the river level, and now I need to go through and adjust the things back down to where we're not getting flooding like this. Though I am okay with a section like that being flooded. I mean, it is a nice buildable area, but I don't know, it's not huge that if we can't get it back that we'd really be losing out. We do have an area over here that we can build in, though, to maybe get down there with a bridge. So I don't know, we'll see. And then we've got places like here where the road, because of the rocks and where the train is, the right hand comes out and then goes to the left and then comes back out, and then it's back on the right, and then it goes over the really impressive bridge, which is just a beautiful, beautiful bridge. But my favorite bridge in the whole game is on further down, I guess. I thought it was this one. But again, it does some really cool things with tunnels and stuff like that. Just great attention to detail. I think this is the one. No, it's not the one either. It must be at the other end of one of the other rivers. But you can just see, just gorgeous. We even have like a little dirt road that comes down here that we could eventually replace these castle ruins with like the Chirpwick Castle and make that a nice tourist destination, looking out over everything. And in this big area here, if that's not begging to just be high rises, just jam packed in there, I don't know what is. And where is that one railroad bridge? Because it's really cool when you see it and you're like, wow, when you see it the first time. We do have railroads all over the place, including an area here where we can even get one of the bigger railroad terminals to connect up. And then these rail lines all actually go to very useful places on the map. So we'll actually be able to utilize railroads without having to build a whole lot of them and pay a ton in railroad upkeep. My only big complaint about this map is here in the marshes. Marshes don't have these really big steep banks like this. They just don't. I mean, I'm assuming this is supposed to be a marsh. Marshes usually aren't at a higher elevation like this. But I've raised the water as high as I can without it flooding down over the edge. I may be able to use a smooth terrain tool to clean that up. I don't know, or I may just leave it as is. So you can see down here, I raised the water quite a bit, and you can see what it's doing. It's now flooding down the side. I'm kind of okay with that because I don't think I would wind up using this land because of how steep the slope is on it. Gosh, I cannot find this railroad bridge. Where is it? There's that river there off of that lake. Let's zoom back out. We only have the one river through. Somewhere there's a really cool bridge. I just don't know where it is right now. Maybe it's down this way. I just want to show it off because it's really awesome. Okay, so I know there's a lighthouse near it. I know that much. So if we see a lighthouse in the middle of the river, we know we found it. Nope, nope, nope. Nope, that's all just railroad. Wait. Is it down here? Yeah, here it is. Look at this. Check this out. So he's got the highway coming off a roundabout, and it goes in. The railroad comes out into a curve, and then they become one bridge structure. How cool is that? And this is where I need to figure out how I'm going to adjust things, because right now if a boat comes through here, it crashes into this. Plus, I flooded some things out here, so I am going to have to lower the river level back down. Obviously, our poor little lighthouse is currently just flooded. I'm going to have to lower the river back down, so I'm going to have to do a lot of terrain editing to make the banks look how I would really like them to look. I don't know why this highway just juts off straight over here and then just stops. That's kind of peculiar, but we can do something with it. So yeah, this is our map. This is what we're going to be doing for a while in City Skylines, is working in this map with both live streams and in our YouTube series. I think the next area I'm going to expand to is going to be over here, mainly because it's not too bad of a drive down this road and then up over to here. And I'm not sure, but I might be able to get a tunnel or two to come through this hill here to connect them up so that they can drive straight through. So I think that's important to try to get it straight through. And if I can't, I guess I could always, you know, to save them some time, have maybe a connection that comes off right in here somewhere to make that work. But I don't know. That's something that we will look at the next time that we play. So until then, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.